We're back. We've printed 3 separate models in different scales using Monocure's Rapid Resin Gray. These were printed at 50 micron layer heights, and we used the recommended settings from Monocure for this particular resin, which was 7 seconds per layer. Obviously, it's already unboxed. There's not a whole lot to assemble here. We're going to take some of the plastics off the unit. The Creality LD-006. This is a rather large printer. Not quite Phenom large, but unlike the original Phenom, this is a monochrome screen. So we've got a 4K monochrome screen, and what that means is we end up with a 50 micron X and Y resolution, but also, and more importantly, we end up with much faster cure times than a traditional LCD. So the monochrome screen ends up letting more of the UV light through, so we can get our cure times down from 8 or 9 seconds, depending on your resin, to let's say 3, maybe 4. And we'll have to see, that's going to take some experimentation, but it's considerably faster. And especially when you're talking about higher Z build heights, speed matters. I had some prints on the Phenom L that were taking me 30 hours-ish for the full build height. Maybe a little bit more. I'd have to go back and watch that video, to be honest. And if I could cut that time in half, that's a considerable time savings, especially if you're doing this as a business. Time is money, right? The other effect that a monochrome screen has is because more of that UV light is passing through and not being absorbed by the screen itself, your screen life goes through the roof. Number one, you have shorter cure times, so it's actually exposed to less UV light per layer, but also it's not absorbing most of that, so it's not heating up and it's not degrading as fast. So your screen should last considerably longer. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the life expectancy is of this screen, but if all things being equal, if you had a typical screen versus a monochrome, it's going to last tons longer. We have network connectivity and USB on the side here. We have 2 fans with little kind of charcoal filters on them on the back, and we have a 4.3 inch, I think. Yeah, 4.3 inch color screen here. And let's just turn it on and see that guy light up. So unlike some of the previous Creality printers, the LD-001, I believe that was the one, we don't have any proprietary software here. We're going to use Chittu box. It's a Chittu board in there. I've used Chittu for lots of my other printers, and I would be surprised if other slicers like Lychee didn't support this printer as well. If not currently, then in the near future. The overall build volume of the LD-006 is 192 millimeters wide by 120 deep and 250 millimeters in Z volume. The overall size of the machine is 325 by 290 by 500 millimeters high. And because of the nature of the lid, you need to make sure you leave some additional clearance above the printer so that you can get almost twice the printer's height to get the lid all the way off. The max power consumption is around 250 watts, and the unit has a heft of 13.5 kilograms. All right, so let's remove the vat here. I haven't actually had time to print with this printer yet. We'll print with it, and then we'll come back with some example prints to wrap up this video. But we have the vat here, and the printer does come with a vat cover. The vat cover only snaps on when it's not in the unit because the knobs here kind of restrict it from clamping on properly. The vat is aluminum, it's not plastic, and it's got kind of your standard retaining system on the bottom that provides the tension to the vat. And some people actually do measure the frequency that produces to determine if it's at the right tension or not. In their little accessory kit, they include a calibration card, So in our other videos where we've done build plate leveling, you've thrown a piece of standard 20-pound printer paper in there. They give you this specific card to do your leveling process with. The process that we go through using this card and zeroing out the build plate is the same as we've done with any other printer, and we'll lead you through that. The manual also leads you through that process. So we have a scraper, we have a brush, and I'm not entirely sure what we would need this for. We have a plastic scraper if you don't want to be aggressive and scratching up your build plate. Looks like we have some rubber gloves. And we have the USB stick and a couple Allen keys. So as I said, the leveling process is the same as we've always done. We're going to place our calibration card there, and we'll go to Tools, and then Manual, and then Home. So the manual does indicate that the build plate has been leveled at the factory. If that weren't the case, we would definitely want to loosen these screws, all 4 of these, so that the build plate's kind of floating there. And that way, if it goes down too far, the build plate will just slide up a little bit and it won't try to crush the screen, so to speak. But we should be fine here. So if we try to slide out the calibration card, I mean, it's nice and tight. It's tight on both sides. The card, if it was a little bit longer and wider, would be better because we could actually get a good handle on it. This is kind of difficult. If it were just sliding around and there's not friction between the screen and the build plate, well then that's where we loosen these and press down equally on both sides of the build plate and then tighten them while you press down. When you've got it leveled, you would actually go back out and you would set Z equal to 0 to let the machine know that this is properly leveled where it is right now. Because back on that manual screen, you can move this up and down. If it was far too far up, obviously no amount of travel within these screws is going to allow you to press that down enough. You need to actually lower it down, so you would go down, 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 down like that. So if you have to go up or down at all, once you've got it tightened and nice and taut against that, you would set Z equal to 0 to say confirm, and now this is properly leveled at this point. Now we'll have to raise it up, so back to manual, move it up a little bit, just so we can get our card out of here. There we go. And then we'll have to raise it up a bunch more to get the vat in there. As it's raising, the unit is rather quiet. It will be a little bit louder when we're printing, obviously, because it's going to be cooling the LED array. And this is a substantial unit. I don't know how much it weighs, but it has some heft to it. On the Z-axis, we've got 2 linear rails for additional stability, and then your standard lead screw with a rather large kind of backlash nut contraption there in the middle. And it's powered by, a standard stepper motor. And I don't think there's really a whole lot else to talk about the outside of it. The UI here is really intuitive, responsive. It's actually almost the same setup as I've seen on many other Chitdu-based printers, and that's not really super surprising. So let's slide this in. And the printer does have a nice little indented section that helps kind of center this plate. So it's pretty obvious when you're sliding it in, it just kind of falls into place. And then tighten both of these screws there. So the build plate is held in with a screw here with a nice little nut on the top that stays attached to the printer, and the build plate slides off, where others might have that screw attached to the build plate itself. And the build plate actually identifies left and right. So it does have some form of directionality to it, though I don't see why that would matter. It looks to be completely symmetrical, but I'm not going to argue with it. Just leave it like that. Tighten that down. Okay. So I think at this point, there's not much else to do. I'm going to fill it with some resin. I'm going to launch Chitdu, do some slices, and I'll give you my thoughts when we come back. We're back. We've printed 3 separate models in different scales using Monocure's Rapid Resin Gray. These were printed at 50 micron layer heights, and we used the recommended settings from Monocure for this particular resin, which was 7 seconds per layer. We didn't experiment going lower, though I suspect we definitely could. They were all printed on their back, which is kind of typical, so any of the marring from the supports is on the back. One of them did lose an appendage here when we were disconnecting it, but the detail retained is incredible. It's turned out very, very good. It'll be interesting to see how much time we can shave off of these by going down in cure times and swapping out other resins that already are known to cure faster and get that number even further down. For items that you are printing on the build plate in resin flat, which is typically discouraged, but sometimes the only way that you can print certain items, there's a bit of an issue you need to navigate around, and it's not unique to this printer, but many resin printers have a completely smooth build plate, and you can see that the screw holes for this mounting bracket here protrude right through the build plate to the other side. So if you have a flat, boxy item that you're printing right on the bed, that is going to kind of cause an imperfection in the bottom of that item. So you'll have to, navigate your item around those a little bit. And again, if you're using the full build volume, that might not be a possibility either. Raising it on a bed of nails or support structure would be a way around that, or printing it in a different orientation if possible, again, using supports. So my final thoughts is I'm very grateful that they're using standardized software for slicing instead of something proprietary that I now need to learn a different tool. It performed great as expected, especially after we did the bed leveling, which we showed you earlier on. Aside from those screw holes, I have no complaints of this machine so far. We've used it on and off for the last week or so. I wouldn't call that a stress test by any stretch, but so far, color me impressed. Hopefully you found that useful. Remember, like and subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when we upload more videos. Thanks for watching.